Hello everybody, this is SeetherCord here, and welcome to the next installment of SeetherCast here on YouTube, the greatest website of all time, not really. This is not in any way a second attempt at recording things for an episode of SeetherCord with my mysterious guest for today. We definitely did not have any technical or internet issues last time we tried to record, so this is all genuinely first take, first shot, don't question it. Introduce yourself, mysterious guest.
Hello, my name is DJ Arc, the cute and lovable of the furry fandom. How's everybody going? Don't say anything, because I know you can't respond.
I thought I was the cute and lovable one of the furry fandom.
Okay, well, if you want to be technical, I'm the cute and lovable DJ dipped in awesome sauce.
In awesome. I was thinking like dipping you in like the Taco Bell sauce from Taco Bell.
Oh, well, at least the packages respond to whenever I say things.
If I could go off topic for 1 second, there used to be this guy who I used to talk to online who was a big jerk to me and my friends, and he was just a big jerk and a meanie, and we haven't talked to him in years, but we make jokes about how he was like a really like heavy set guy and how he constantly was eating Taco Bell in calls and everything, and he would eat the Taco Bell, like he would make these noises like and then we would joke about him he had like really huge lips, and we would joke about how he injected his lips with Taco Bell sauce.
Oh my
god. Hey guys, and he'd speak like this. He'd be like, "Hey guys, I got myself some tacos, Taco Bell." Oh my god. Anyway, we got DJ Arc on the mic here, ready to drop some fat beats. You ready?
Chicka chicka chow chow!
Anyways, DJ Arc is the host of the Omega Republic podcast, known as In the Spotlight in Europe and everything. You can check it out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever. MySpace, I don't care. And basically tell us a little bit about yourself and your podcast, dude.
Well, I don't know if anybody still uses MySpace, but okay.
Well, Justin Timberlake bought the rights to it.
Oh my goodness. Well,
did you know that?
No, I do now, though. Well, basically, the Omega Republic is actually a furry podcast. We discuss a little bit about news as well as the promotion of furry musicians. Of course, yeah. We've been around for at least about several years, technically. I guess you'd go ahead and say, originally we weren't a furry podcast, but more of a political platform. And it's
really go into detail a little bit.
Oh my goodness. Well then, apparently once upon a time I had this crazy idea, like, hey, politics seems like a great idea, let's go ahead and get into that. And I did, and 2 years later I said, oh hell no, left, and got into a bit of bronies, and saw that there was a vacancy with the musicians there. Well, the furries had a little bit of vacancies. The bronies seems to have a well adaptation with their music. And I thought, well, we need something like that. And lo and behold, this is how we came to be.
It's so beautiful. I love it, it's so beautiful.
I know, it's
That's a really nice way to introduce.
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of a weird story, I guess you could say.
I can understand that. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what really started off your life since you were a fetus and everything. You don't have to go into detail about that. But then, like, talk about like what really your early childhood was like, what led you into getting into the furry fandom, what kind of things did you do within the furry fandom when you started off, and what led you to getting to Omega Republic in the beginning.
Well, it was October of 1988, and my mother was the first time meeting my father.
Oh my god.
Well, and speed it up, 9 months later, here I came about, and let me see, by the age of sophomore high school. Well, got involved in the fandom by being introduced by a kindergarten friend of mine. He was involved in the anime cons and whatnot down over there in high school. he introduced me to this one individual, which of course he had the wolf tail as well as the wolf ears and whatnot.
Ooh.
Oh yes, and come to find out he was a Therian.
Oh, that's a unique way of expressing yourself.
Oh yes, especially in high school, really.
You were allowed to express that in high school, especially back in your time, I guess.
Back in my time, before we invented writing, yes.
Well, I know that you're like 50 or something. Kidding. Kidding.
Sure.
DJ Arc is 27. No, he's 30.
I mean, if I want to go back to 27, sure.
Oh my god.
I won't agree with that.
Wow. Anyways, continue.
Yes, well, the Therian went ahead and started introducing me to different types of websites. There were online platforms of chat sites and whatnot, mostly on Yahoo back in the days, of different types of furry groups, and of course, that was my first time being introduced into the fandom. And I thought myself, well, this is an interesting bunch. I must go ahead and start hanging around in this little group, and lo and behold,
You're a furry now.
Later, yeah.
You're like, it's like you deny being a furry in the beginning. Most furries deny it in the beginning. Like, oh, I'll never be this freaking fur-fag shit. And then they end up becoming a furry in the end. Like, no! I don't want to OWO with every sentence I type.
I don't want to be furry trash. I already came out of the gutter.
Oh my god. Like, for real, like, OWO is going to eventually become a word in the dictionary.
Oh, I have no idea. No doubt about that one.
Also, :3 is going to become a word as well. And then capital O, lowercase w, capitalized O is going to be a word as well.
First they become emojis, then they become words.
And then the last one I'll mention is lowercase o / lowercase o. Anyways, I wanted to also bring up the fact that you and I have a little bit of a history being involved with In the Spotlight and Omega Republic, and let's let you delve a little bit into my past involving with your podcast.
Aw, come now, that's your story. You should be introducing that one.
Come on, I have the SeetherCast series so people can have a break from me talking in my videos. Come on, you take over. I have a very toxic relationship with my fan base.
Oh, and you think I don't? I abuse my staff member.
Going to counseling. Oh my god. It's just like a sweatshop you have, and like a Chinese children's sweatshop you have. We're just like, make the podcast.
We pretty much send them to the mines or have them out into the field building statues of me.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Tell a little bit about our experience together, us working.
Well, once upon a time, back in the 90s, or was it early 20th century, 21st century? I don't know. Time is irrelevant once you get to my age.
Oh, wow. That's so true. The older you get, the faster time feels.
Yes. We used to go ahead and be on another podcast, which of course is Cord Kitty.
Ooh.
Yes, and of course he used to have something called First Greatest Podcast in the World. I mean, if you think I'm narcissistic.
Oh my god, let's not stir up a controversy in the comment section about Cord Kitty. Other than the fact that he stole my username, SeetherCord, Cord Kitty. It's a connection. And then you have like the Illuminati like
confirmed.
do 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 do. I'm done.
Okay then. Well, anyway, after Cord Kitty finished up with his podcast, I decided to go ahead and Shanghai some of his group members, and that included Seether over here.
Oh my god. I don't remember ever being in... I never remembered, like, being in Cord Kitty's podcast. I remember being in your podcast. I had some interactions with him through Telegram, and he messaged me recently, like a month ago, out of nowhere. He was like, "Hey, I need to ask you about something." I'm like, "What?" Didn't respond for like 5 days, and he responds back finally. He's like, "Oh, never mind." I'm like, "Okay."
Sounds about right. I mean, I'm always like that myself. I'll go and say, "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, doing all right." 5 years later, I'll respond, "Great."
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So, anyway, we decided to go ahead and get Seether around over here. One of the podcasts that we go ahead and do is... I forgot which one it was, but I'll go ahead and dig it up sometime this week once I have some time.
Are you talking about the one where I fell asleep through the podcast?
Yeah. Not just the entire podcast, but post-podcast as well.
Oh my god. If I could recall what was happening, we were going to do a podcast where we were going to interview this girl who made fursuits and attended a couple conventions and was well known to a decent extent within the fandom. And I remember the day before that, I pulled an all-nighter, and I had, before the day of us recording, and I also had to pull, it was 4th of July weekend, and we had to pull a double shift at work, or I had to. And I was like, I had to work from 7 o'clock in the morning to 1 p.m., and then I had to come back at 4 and work to 10 p.m. at night. And I worked this in between that 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., that 3-hour break, we were recording the podcast, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be so freaking productive. I'm going to do this crap. I remember I freaking bought like 3 cans of Monster Energy, which I don't drink anymore. I'm really glad I don't drink energy drinks anymore. So I remember I was loaded up on all that shit and everything, and I went through the first morning shift like, well, I was blazing through like, whoa, let's do this. And then I came back home, I'm ready to record the podcast. And then like right when we started recording and I was sitting down, I was like, I just fell asleep.
Hey guys, I think I just got him to tell him the story, didn't I?
Shut up! Anyway. I will boot you from YouTube. I'm kidding. I'll just false copyright claim all your videos.
Oh, that's alright. Wouldn't be the first time somebody tried.
Whoa, what? What?
Yeah, you get all of these haters every now and then. Of course, I think they just have thing against furs in general. We have individuals that go ahead and start trolling you.
See, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Sue them. Just kidding.
I will, for taking my name in the mud.
Well, you could do it for a different reason. If they false copyright claimed a lot of your videos and they got taken down, if you miss out on a lot of potential ad revenue because of that, you could sue them for like financial damage.
Yeah, more or less, probably could, but it's not like we make anything off of our YouTubes.
DJ Arc is secretly not disclosing how much money they make through ad revenue, Patreon support, coffee donations, and also Audible membership sponsorships as well. And DJ Arc is obviously making the 6-figure digits per year off of the podcast alone, and is paying like all of his members only like $1.
Seether, I told you. You weren't supposed to tell anybody that.
I know. I said I wouldn't. I know. I said, oh, fuck, you're right. You promised that if I didn't say anything, you'd give me 10% of the pay.
Yeah. But now you can
Or no, it wasn't 10%. You would give me $2 if I didn't say anything.
Well, you could go ahead and kiss those $2 goodbye now.
No. I could have bought like 2 beefy mini quesadillas at Taco Bell.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, we're just talking up Taco Bell for some reason. I don't know. Taco Bell got me through college.
It's the day before Taco Tuesday. We are getting prepped here.
Shh, don't let them know we're recording this on Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Anyways, another instance of me being a part of and failing within the Omega Republic is there's a case where I was going to do the web design for the Wix site. And easy enough to say, I failed. If Arc could go further into how much I sucked at that.
Yeah, Seether is one of those individuals that really likes to help out a lot, but doesn't really help out a lot.
At least I've actually made edits to it within the past 2 years. that Wix site is just vacant, inactive.
Hey, for the record, we actually got a guy that we paid for. We're going to be having our website finally, after all these years. We're going to be getting one.
Nice. You should buy that web domain, man. You know?
More or less. I think it might be included with the web designer that we hired.
Funny enough, speaking of web domains, if I could go off topic, I think when the internet first started, any website name, web domain was for free. And I think the guy who originally bought the rights to the web domain for pizza.com was offered millions of dollars to sell it.
What?
Yeah, he back when the internet first started, he created pizza.com because there was nothing else, and many companies were willing to pay him tons of money to buy that web domain.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. You see some individuals who go ahead and just buy domain names themselves and then just sell it off to whatever company.
Dude, if you how would you feel if you started OmegaRepublic.com and then out of nowhere for some reason you couldn't afford to pay the monthly rent to have the domain, and then I just bought it?
Well, I'd be saying that instead of you owing me, I'd be saying that instead of I owing you the $2, you'd be owing me the $2 for the domain name.
Oh my gosh. Gotta put 6 extra zeros on that. No, I'm kidding. Anyways.
Yes. All in good fun.
Yes, and definitely in good fun. Unless there's money involved and it gets all serious. Anyways, other things we need to discuss for this podcast is talking about what really got you into wanting to do podcasts in the first place. And I know you've had experiences with being a DJ, and I definitely want to ask about that because being a DJ sounds so freaking cool. Please go further into talking about that.
Well, the DJing thing was actually irrelevant to my podcast. However, if you want to go into that backstory, let me see. Once upon a time, young Arc used to go ahead and go from coastal area of Northern California all the way up down over there in Crescent City. And during the summer times, we go down to San Diego. And some of the stories I'd be able to go ahead and tell you, oh my goodness. One in particular, which of course I recall of, we were down over there in the San Diego Bay. Or not Bay, whatever you want to call it. San Diego area. We had this one individual in particular, recently new place that he got. He didn't seem like the type that he was very familiar with that kind of business style. I guess
really?
Go ahead and say, yeah. He was one of those fresh guys that just started out in the club business.
Oh, okay.
Well, long story short on that one, we actually nearly lost at least about $10,000 worth of equipment on that day.
Woo!
Yeah, for the simple reason, the fire sprinklers with the smokes that were going off. Now, naturally, some of these newer system nowadays, they have a strategic set off, so if one area goes off, not all of them will go off at once. But of course, this is actually a more older system that they had installed. And of course, we were fortunate though. And the reason why I say we were fortunate is that the sprinklers themselves wasn't set up, but the fire alarms kept going off because of the smoke.
Okay.
And but however, had the sprinklers been set up, it would have been one expensive wet t-shirt contest.
Dang, that would have just been horrible. It was already somewhat horrible, but at least it wasn't even more horrible, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, how do I say this? Like, you caused a, I don't know if I should say it or not. It sounds messed up. Should I say it?
Sure, go right ahead. Your podcast.
You caused a car accident, but could have caused a school shooting. I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
Dark.
I don't know. That's probably like the darkest thing I've ever said in a video. I apologize, people. I don't know. No, actually, you know what? I don't need to apologize as much. I apologized so much in the past like 3 videos. Just make sure not to offend anyone. It's the internet. Get over it. I'm sorry. Like, we can have fun, but if you have a problem with it, then watch something else.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad intentions or anything.
Yeah.
As many times that you've apologized for the religion one.
If I'm like, you know, if I'm like robbing a bank, don't like freaking call the cops, you know? Just mind your own business. Let me do what I want, you know?
Guys, it's just Seether. Let him do.
I'm just kidding. Anyways, tell us a little bit more about you being a DJ and everything, and like, tell like what's like really the cool aspects, what's the positives and the negatives of being a DJ and working that for a couple of years. As you said at one point when we did our past recording of this, our first attempt, you said that you did it as a full-time job at one point. Tell us a little bit, because I want to know, because whenever I think about being a DJ, I always think about when they get on the DJ board and they go, wicka, 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 wicka.
Well, those are the old school DJs who were a lot more popular during the 90s and somewhat of the 80s as well.
Oh, God. You're gonna bring out your Sony Walkman, you know?
Oh, yeah. With a boombox and all.
I'm gonna be like Will Smith or like Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy with the Walkman.
Oh yeah, that's actually not a bad movie. But yes,
he's great.
Did it for at least a couple of years, I guess. To go ahead and say, made at least about 500 on weekends.
Okay, so like you get paid on commission to do shows for people and everything.
Well, it really depends on the, what do you call it? The club owner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, this is actually one of the more trickier parts, especially if you start getting into the DJing business, is that, you'll go ahead and probably make at least about $100-$200 when you start out, and of course it might not just be club owners that you work with. You might also go ahead and work some sort of wedding venue or some sort of birthday bash or whatnot. Those are called mobile. Yeah, those are called mobile DJs. Okay,
so like they wouldn't like some people would come up to you and like pay you money, like, hey, play this thing on the DJ or something.
Well, like I said. It all depends on, well, if you're talking about people or working with them directly, some people will go ahead and say, hey, can you go ahead and host a birthday? Hey, can you host our wedding? Hey, can you host this graduation, for example?
Okay, it makes sense, because I was thinking for a second when you say that like people will pay you to like perform certain shows or things for you and they pay you up front, I was thinking like, so basically you're a stripper. Like,
my God.
Oh my God. Oh man. May I ask now for
Seether's just going all out here today.
I don't freaking know, man. I'm tired and all. And we were talking about NCAA 2003 for GameCube a couple hours ago, all night. I wanted to ask about what really brought an end. Decided you to bring an end to doing the DJ, and then what led you on to wanting to do podcasts for the furry fandom? Like, what inspired you to be involved with podcasts? Did they appeal to you a lot? Do you feel like there's a specific niche crowd that would enjoy furry-centered podcasts?
Well, yes, in a way. Podcasting is about the equivalent of what's being replaced to radio with listening to the FM AM radio of back then. Simply because everybody's connected to the internet, they have some sort of access, whatnot, to it. And of course, which would be about the equivalent of having a radio, which of course is a lot more useful mobile. I mean, heck, I could go ahead and pick up with a podcast on my phone and listen to it. But yes,
understandable.
Yeah, podcasting is the replacement of radio. At least that's how I feel.
Okay. I don't think I asked you in the right order, but what made you move away from being a DJ and then moving on to doing podcasts, and especially doing them in the furry fandom?
Well, yeah. Okay. It's all separate things, really, simply because the DJing business does not correlate with the reason why I got into podcast and furry. Those are like separate sectors of my life. Let me see here. The reason why I quit the DJing business is two reasons.
Okay.
One is you kind of get tired of constantly being on the road.
Ooh, yeah.
And of course, despite how much fun that you do have times, there's also some shady parts of it. It's like what my grandmother always says, there's nothing good that ever comes after dark.
I see. Unless it's, driving to Taco Bell at 1 o'clock in the morning and getting 3 beefy mini quesadillas for $3, while you, stay up all night trying to make YouTube videos and also getting your college paper done that's due in, 5 hours, which you waited till the last minute to do.
Seether, I have a question.
Yes?
Is this podcast being advertised by Taco Bell?
To be honest, it's not. I just really want some Taco Bell right now. I'm craving that dollar menu. I don't even like the regular menu. I like the dollar menu more.
Nice. I thought it was just some sort of subliminal product placement you got going on here.
No, our product placement's going to be for audibletrial.com. Keyword Seether to get a 15% off your first audiobook. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and let me see here. Second thing, the reason why I kind of gotten out of the business is, of course, my hearing's kind of gotten shit in a hellbasket.
Oh yeah, you said you were completely deaf in one of your ears?
Yes, I am. And of
you're
course, I got the hearing of a 50-year-old in the other. And apparently somehow Seether decided that I have a third ear somehow after that conclusion.
Oh my god, don't talk about the failed attempt to record. But, you say that, some people call you grandpa when it comes to the Omega Republic. Even though you're 30, you say you have hearing a 50-year-old, you're like, huh? What did you say, Sonny?
Actually, the girlfriend actually gets annoyed at times simply because of that.
Oh my god. She calls you old.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, from man to man, at the age of 30, have you unfortunately suffered from hair loss?
Well,
with
I'll
aging?
Be frank. Male pattern baldness is quite common in my family. And of course, I hadn't had much great in the hair department, at least on my head.
Okay.
Also, if you want to go ahead and talk about it, I have always had grays as well, even in my 20s. I kind of look like one of those granny vixens.
I understand. I on my other hand, am losing hair from the top a little bit, bald spots showing, which I don't know. Maybe I can just do those as seen on TV ads where you get that spray can and you spray paint the top of your head. I've seen products like that. That's freaking crazy. Dude.
Don't get those! I tell ya, all it is just a freaking spray can. You just spray paint in your head.
Yeah, what is spray paint made out of? Mercury? Oh yeah, I love all the mercury seeping through my skull into my brain. Oh yay.
Well, at the very least, you go ahead and get a nice contact high.
Oh my god. Oh god.
You wouldn't have to worry about that bald spot once you go ahead and get that level.
This is low-key the funniest episode of Seether Talks, or SeetherCast so far. If you agree, smash that like button.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, press the bell.
By the way, guys, can we get 300 likes on this video? No, I'm kidding. That's alright. Yeah, those people that freaking make videos and then, like, in the very beginning of the video, before you even start watching what the video is about, they're like, can we get 10,000 likes on this video and everything? Remember to smash the like button.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, I must discuss for a second how you feel about furry implementation of podcasts within the furry fandom. What kind of inspired you to make a furry-centered podcast, be it maybe the influence of SeetherCast or any other furry-centered podcast? And how do you feel like, is there like a niche market for furries wanting to listen to furry-centered podcasts? / are there that many furry-related podcasts out there besides you, SeetherCast, and Cord Kitties?
Well, SeetherCast, I think, is probably the biggest one, which, of course, is probably would be my most influencer, I guess you could go ahead and say.
I understand. No influence from Cord Kitty, I assume.
Cord Kitty came in close second.
Oh my god.
Until eventually he left, and then it became SeetherCast.
We love you, Cord Kitty.
Yeah, even though we go ahead and talk about things, we still love you. Don't hate us.
We're gonna regret talking about this. Oh man. Anyways, the market of furry-centered podcasts. Do you feel like it's still a market that anyone can get into and still have like fresh ideas for, or do you feel like it's becoming oversaturated, or is it in the middle?
In all honesty, when you think about it, overall view, yeah, it's just like there's still plenty of room to go ahead and grow in. I mean, it's kind of like with the Omega Republic. The initial idea for it is to go ahead and do the promotion of furry artists. You do not hear a whole lot about them. And, of course, SeetherCast, which of course is always this general topic thing that they're always discussing about, really.
I agree.
Yeah, which of course is like, okay, well, you guys are kind of like the same thing as other podcasts. The only difference is that you guys are furs.
Agreed. Yeah, I can definitely see that being the case. Do you feel like that like furry-related podcasts are currently in its prime, like how a year or two ago furry YouTubing was in its prime? Or do you feel like podcasts related to furries won't ever really get to a point of prime?
I think, well, the question is, how much do you think it's going to be a prime? I mean, our prime is probably where it's at right now.
Yeah, with YouTube and everything being a big influencer, like, I think SeetherCast originally started up on iTunes. That's how I first found them, and now I think they're strictly YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I think I came across with them on Furry for Life, if I remember right. They did a bit of a promotion of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Last thing I really want to ask of you in terms of my questions I have out for you before we can get into anything you have to ask. What is your overall state of the furry fandom? Do you feel like it's currently in a good state that it's in? Do you think there's any like major issues or major good things that need to be brought up right now? And overall, what do you think the future of the fandom is going to be headed if we continue the way things are going right now? And if you don't like how it's going, is there anything we can do to change?
Well, I think the biggest topic that's been going on around here lately within the community itself is whether we're going to be expanding, and of course when we expand is of course the concern of companies making the furry fandom their cash cow.
My god.
Yeah. Prime example is, of course, IMVU. IMVU went ahead and took over Fur Affinity. Well, bought for Affinity, but yet they still let them do their own little thing in marketings and whatnot. But there's not a whole lot of outside influence. I know Walt Disney is another factor. Just a sec.
Alright.
Yes? Having fun there? Okay. So where was I? Oh, yes.
You're talking about Disney.
Yes, of course there's also another factor with Walt Disney as well. Walt Disney with Zootopia, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have some of those outside factors, I guess you could go ahead and say that's been influencing it with, but I really don't think it gets gone to that level of, hey, we got this business with this community. Anybody who's anyone could go ahead and sell out whatever garbage to these guys and they'll take it. I don't think we've gotten to that level yet. I don't think we ever will either.
Hopefully not. I don't know. I feel like if we get to that level to where it should be concerning is if like eventually someone tries to make the term furry or being a furry like a trademark or something. It's like McDonald's buys the right to furries. You get fursuit or mascots making advertisement for McDonald's. I don't know. Or freaking like, I don't know, like McDonald's buys the rights to Anthrocon and opens up a McDonald's at the convention center.
There you go. You like one of those?
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting a 20-count chicken nugget at Anthrocon.
Well, you'll go ahead and probably will have to go ahead and wait a little bit more longer for that. But one of the things that I'm actually proud of, really, within the community is that you're actually starting to see more and more furries who are starting businesses within the furry fandom.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I remember, I think, when I was still a part of Omega Republic, I think we interviewed this one guy. I think for the 3 episodes I was a part of, one of them, we interviewed this guy who, like, started a business selling, like, these furry-themed, like, shot glasses or something, or other, like, silverware.
Yeah. Vivian, I do believe, was his name. He was a white tiger. That's all I recall of with him.
Oh yeah, shout out to him. You know.
Yeah.
Is that business still going in strong? Is he still in business with everything of that? It's been like 2 years.
I'm sure. I'd have to go ahead and catch up with one of our other affiliates, Raven or Crystal, that some may know her as. So it's actually the one that introduced us to him.
It's great. Other than that, I think that we pretty much now covered everything I really have to ask you in terms of you for this episode. Is there anything you feel like you need to bring up or ask about me or for the audience in terms of like topics we need to bring up involving furries or whatever, or are you good?
Well, one of the things that I guess I might want to go ahead and say is that even though, yes, we are a bit of a tight-knit community and whatnot, you have to really find your own slice of pie within the fandom itself. We're pretty wide.
Did you literally just call? I'm sorry to interrupt.
I mean, we're pretty wide range on a whole bunch of things. But simply because one individual may be fur, one individual, same thing as one individual may be a Christian and goes to church. Simply because does not necessarily mean it's like, oh, hey, they're a good person. No, there are individuals even within the furry fandom that you gotta watch out for.
I completely understand and agree with what you fully said, but I must address the fact that you literally just referred to the entire furry fandom as a pie.
The furry fandom is American ass American pie.
I don't know. I see furry fandom more as like a key lime pie or maybe like a pumpkin squash pie. Pie.
That's all what Seether has on his brain right now is pie, tacos, and Marvel Universe movies.
Oh my god. I just saw Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home. Don't judge me. And Into the Spider-Verse. But no, I just don't record before lunch. Don't record and not have lunch yet. That's my case. I don't know. Anyways, is that everything else you have to mention, or is there anything else left?
Well, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. We good to go or something?
Hey, that's all I got to say. Aside from, stay in school, don't do drugs, don't eat yellow snow, that kind of stuff.
And don't ow in public. That's a fine of $350.
Yes.
Have you been seeing that lately? Like someone made a sign that says "Don't ow," penalty of $350 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty much that legalize awoo type thing. I have no idea how and all that started, but oh my goodness.
Genius. But anyways, thank you so much again, DJ Arc, for coming on to my podcast. Thank you for everyone who has watched the video so far to this point. I'm pretty sure most of you haven't, but thank you anyway for clicking on the video if it was only for 3 seconds. Check out DJ Arc on all of his social media. Please list it down as well as all the Omega Republic stuff to promote.
Yes. And I promise you, we will not sell you out.
All right. Yeah, check out Omega Republic on YouTube. They have a Facebook page, I believe. Twitter,
Facebook, Discord, YouTube, all the good stuff.
Everything also linked down in the description down below. Also, make sure to check out myself be on Omega Republic's podcast in the future, hopefully maybe sometime next week or so. So definitely go check them out and subscribe if you want to see more of me on YouTube, other places besides my own channel. We will definitely have that in the future. Make sure to also remember that if you enjoy my content and want to further help us out, please consider donating to my Patreon page and my Ko-fi, hitting that like button, turning on that notification bell, and subscribing all together. I've been SeetherCord, and he has been DJ Arc, and we will both see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, come over here. I like how he's walking. He's like the Beast. Like, it's like, remember the YouTubers like the Beast. Like, just look up Joseph8276 on YouTube. It's cringe, but it's beautiful at the same time.
The Beast is fucking bad.